Squidward will be performing his version of Solitude in E minor.
Yeah, E minor, all right, yeah!
Alright, back again with another review. This time, it's for the movie Fantastic Four. First Steps, I think is the subtitle. And, this movie, for me, saw it on a Sunday. I decided to watch all the Fantastic Four movies before going to see this one. Compare, contrast. And first of all, Josh Trank Fantastic Four, not that bad. Alright, the second half, pretty rough. First half, not that bad.
Not bad, not bad. Now you.
The early 2004-2005 Fantastic Four films with Chris Evans as Human Torch, not that bad either. You know, they remind me of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Like, it is like that type of level of filmmaking happening, really.
Fool this man!
So, you know, the bar was pretty low going into Fantastic Four First Steps. It didn't have to do much to be better than the other Fantastic Four movies. It just had to be a competent film. And for a lot of people, I guess it did succeed in that. For me, not so much. I found this film to be very boring. You know, I would call it fantastic bore, you know. Not much really happens in this film. I would say the first half of the film is a decent build-up, you know. You first see Galactus. That's a cool moment, you know. The baby is kind of ridiculous. It looks like CGI the whole time. CGI baby. Reminded me of the Twilight films, you know. The baby in those films. Granted, I can't remember much from the second half of Fantastic Four First Steps because I fell asleep right before like the New York City fight with Galactus was going to happen, which is the only reason I went to the film. But that's the part I fell asleep at. So I can't remember much from that. Apparently Sue Storm dies and her baby brings her back to life. And so it's not really a consequential death. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't miss much, right? So, you know, there's that. I did like the setting. I did like the era the movie took place in, you know, 60s, 70s, whatever, you know, look cool. The movie took place on Earth 828, so I guess we're doing the whole multiverse thing where it doesn't really connect to anything, doesn't really matter. The whole cast, I would say, was serviceable, but all of them felt like they were miscast. You know, I didn't really like how any of them portrayed the characters. Pedro Pascal, love him to death. I want him to be in every film, but I feel like he's completely miscast in this role. You know what I'm saying? This is, you know, they could have got anybody, and it probably would have been a little better than Pedro. Sue Storm was not very memorable. I can't remember the actress's name. And the same with the guy who played Johnny Storm. You know, we went from Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan to this guy that's in Fantastic Four First Steps. Like, it's quite the downgrade. Quite the downgrade. The guy who plays the Thing, I love that actor. He's in a Bear. He's a great actor. But once again, CGI heavy on the Thing. And it didn't look fantastic, I would say. Didn't look too fantastic.
He said it! He said it!
I kind of like the practical look the Thing had in like the 2004 film. I kind of like that. Because I just watched those movies recently. And there's something cool about the practicality of it. But, you know, that's from a bygone era, I guess. Everything's got to be CG now. I'm struggling with this film because I have no desire to go rewatch it, even though I totally didn't see like 20 minutes of the film. You know, I have no desire to go back and rewatch this. The musical score done by the same guy who did the musical score for the Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman, kind of takes a step back in this one, you know. He did a much better job with the Batman score. Nothing's very memorable about the music in this movie. Nothing memorable at all, really, in this movie. Like, I can't really tell you any specific lines that were said in the movie. any sequences, maybe the Galactus sequences. You know, when you first see him, that's pretty cool. But then again, like, that's the most memorable part of the movie. Is that there's a fucking guy with a big ass head. Like, that's the whole point of the movie. Like, can anyone tell what this movie's really about? Like, I can't think of like what the thesis of the movie is about, or like what the point of the movie was. You know.
So I figured it out. Why hot dogs come in packages of 10 and hot dog buns come in packages of 8. See, the thing is that life doesn't always work out according to plan. So be happy with what you got, so you can always get a hot dog.
It feels like a DC movie. It feels like a gritty DC movie. That is not having any sorts of comic book fun with these characters. You know, a guy who stretches a lot, a guy who's a rock, a guy who turns into fire. You can't have, you know, fun with these characters. No. You gotta play it straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes any sense. Granted, I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan. I've just seen the movies, some of the cartoons. These aren't characters I ever connected to. Like, I don't really see the appeal of Fantastic Four. I never really did. Like, you know, there are always these characters like, I kind of want his ability, but then I don't want to be on fire all the time, you know. I kind of want, you know, the stretchy man's ability. But then again, is it painful when he does it? Like, you know, anytime you're thinking about like what connects you to these characters, you're always thinking about the cons with the pros, right? But like I said earlier, I do like the ambience of the movie. I do like the era it's taking place in. I just feel like these characters were miscast. I didn't connect to any of the characters at all. And that might be a casting issue. You know, there's nothing to really latch on with the film. It is boring as hell. Like, the first hour is really drawn out. And it's mostly the reason I fell asleep. And there's a reason the movie's under 2 hours. The movie's an hour and 55 minutes long, and for some reason, it feels like a 3-hour movie. It feels like it's way longer than Superman. And Superman is 10 minutes longer than this Fantastic Four movie. So, you know, I don't want to compare movies, but like, Superman kills this movie as far as entertainment. I've seen Superman like 6 times. I'm not going to rewatch Fantastic Four again, you know. I feel like a lot of people are going to be like that, you know, after seeing it. The movie has no rewatchability, and I fell asleep for about 20 minutes, so I have a reason to rewatch it, and I don't want to rewatch it. So that should tell you everything you need to know about the movie. If you like the movie, God help your soul, and we'll see you all in the next one. Comment below, let me know what part of the movie you fell asleep at, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye for now.
Squidward will be performing his version of Solitude in E minor.
Yeah, E minor, all right, yeah!